council's doing that wouldn't necessarily be a public matter. Again, that would be a public document, and you would talk about the issues that would be looked at in open and enclosed without compromising the tribe's position on those issues. The third thing I'd like to see, and I believe that I can contribute to, is a complete restructuring of the tribal casino and the government. With the adoption of the revenue allocation plan, there are specific percentages of revenue that need to go to specific purposes. And right now, there's no forward thinking about how we're going to use those funds. I do believe that the casino needs to have some stronger financial goals and input from the membership and the tribe, because now that the revenue allocation plan is in place and that revenue is 60-40 split, we have to make sure that, number one, the casino is operating as effectively as possible and efficiently as possible, so we are maximizing our dollars. And then when that dollar comes to the government, the 60% that's being kept for government should be being spent on things that the people think are important. So that would impact all of us, utilizing the strategic plan, setting a legislative agenda, restructuring to maximize all of our dollars that we do have available. All of those things I see going hand in hand. The fourth thing I want to talk about today is Indian preference in hiring and training. The reason I'm bringing this up is because this week there were some issues that came up I'm a little bit aware of, and I want to see that the tribal members and the jobs created here are for Little River Band citizens. I think that after 10 years, if somebody's going to stand here and tell me that we don't have tribal members that can manage some of those positions, I don't believe it. There's no way that a person's worked in a department for 5 or 6 years and they don't have a skill set that you can't strengthen with additional outside support. And I think that that has to happen. The excuses shouldn't be allowed to continue any longer. And I think that an administrative forum setting forth fees for managers who violate that Indian preference process, if you fine them $5,000, I bet you they only do it once. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Thank you.
Of our government, and what do you feel that you can contribute should you be elected?
I think the question itself is actually indicative of the root of the problem. We have the concept of a balance of power, but it's really not a balance of power. It should be rather a balance of obligation and responsibility. And that's a huge difference. When people think of power, power is something that's wielded over others. Obligation and responsibility is something that you perform for others. And I think that this is where we have the problem. Elected officials shouldn't be looking at their positions as power positions, but rather as servants. We are all just servants of the people. And if I am elected, I can honestly say that I understand those things, that this is a position of service and not one of prestige. That I'm not here to make a name for myself, but I'm here to carry out the will of the people. And I think that we forget about that sometimes when we get into these squabbles. In the past, I've had to work with several different Ogamas. And if you look to the voting record, even amidst the worst times, specifically with one Ogama that I think we can all think of, but look to my voting record. There were initiatives that were brought forward during Ogama Lee Sprague's term that I did not vote against just because of personality issues. And there are issues that I didn't support on the tribal council that attempted to usurp the powers of the Ogama, because I don't believe in that. The Ogama's office has a responsibility to carry out their part of the job. The tribal council has their responsibility, and the judiciary branch has their responsibility. And where we get into problems is when everybody starts trying to cross over into those other places. Council members don't belong supervising and trying to figure out the employment issues of the tribe. That's what the Ogama's there for. The Ogama shouldn't be trying to legislate from his office by executive orders. That's what the council's there for. And the judiciary branch shouldn't be attempting to legislate or executive power exertion by ordering reinstatement of issues that possibly haven't been fully litigated. So I see that if we get back to the obligations and responsibilities of each office, and I do agree that the election board is, as those people were saying, that they're a quasi-entity. And so having respect for the job that you've been elected for, and letting the other guy who's been elected to do that job do his job. I think that that's how we straighten the whole matter out, and it's not an excuse. No public official should ever be allowed to leave a meeting in anger. No public official, if the Ogama and the council aren't getting along, it's their obligation to the people to sit in that room and figure out the answer. I don't care how long it takes. They don't have the right to just walk away. And that's how I feel about it. Thank you.